Okay, so looking ahead to tomorrow with the Prime Minister joining you, what specifically are you looking to hear from Mark Carney when he sits down with all the premiers tomorrow?
I think we're very concerned about whether we're going to get an early renegotiation of the Canada-US Free Trade Agreement, and he has indicated in the media as well that he thinks that we might have to be satisfied with some tariffs, and so I want to understand what that means, if that's across the board or if that's sectoral. I think we've seen with the U.S., they're talking about potentially not having a renegotiation on that until next year, which we just think would leave too much uncertainty. So I think everyone is really hopeful that there's a pathway to get to some kind of renegotiation by August 1st, which was the original deadline, but we'll find out more about that tomorrow. But that, I think, is going to be very much at the top of the agenda for all the premiers.
And do you trust in the conversations the Prime Minister is having that the federal government is properly representing Alberta's views and taking your voice to the table?
Well, at the moment, the main industries that we have tariffs on are the auto sector, steel, aluminum, and forestry. And so I would say that we're impacted the most by the forestry tariffs, and we're supportive of New Brunswick and British Columbia's call to have a separate table where we can try to come to a national agreement specifically on softwood lumber tariffs. And then I'm supportive as well. You saw that Doug and I signed an MOU last week where we're agreeing to prioritize buying fleet vehicles from Ontario and steel from Ontario, and he has been such a champion for developing out the oil and gas sector. So I think you'll probably see that those are also the things that come out of this table, is that the premiers are supportive of each other. And I've been encouraged to see the Prime Minister talk about becoming an energy superpower and really finding new markets. I think that that's, again, what Canadians are looking for. I think that's what they voted for in the last federal election. And we're going to proceed in a spirit of goodwill, hoping that it comes to that as well.
So I take your point on, premiers supporting each other, but there is some division around the table when it comes to whether Canada should retaliate and whether there should be more of an elbows-up approach coming from Canada because this is persisting. In your view, do you think if we are hit with that 35% tariff, I know it is on a limited number of goods, that Canada should change its approach? We haven't seen the Prime Minister take retaliatory measures yet.
Well, look, I mean, tariffs are their own punishment. If you're mad at the other guy, you don't punch yourself in the face. That's what I look at tariffs. And when I look at all of the calls that I have been fielding, it's the tariffs that Canada has put on goods coming in from the U.S. that are hurting the people in Alberta the most. So I would say we are better off trying to find a way to minimize the number of tariffs, minimize the number of sectors that are a source of contention, and then try to get to as close to a tariff-free relationship as we possibly can. But I've never supported tariffs on either side. I just don't think that having more tariffs on Canadian businesses and Canadian consumers at a time when we're still facing inflation and uncertainty, that's just painful. It's painful for households, and I just don't think it's the right pathway.
And just lastly, on the Globe and Mail story today about the Alberta health situation, you were asked earlier and walked away without responding. Your government has said you've had nothing to do with it, but you haven't condemned it. Why?
I condemn it. No one should be harassing anybody, and I don't comment on sock puppet accounts. I have no idea who's behind it. And so if there's criminal harassment, I hope that the RCMP finds them and punishes them to the full extent of the law.
Is there any more your government is going to do beyond the condemnation that they can do to look into this further? Is there anything further that you're prepared to do at this stage?
It's none of my business. It's up to those who are feeling that they've been impacted to pursue it to the full extent of the law, and I'll watch and see what happens.
And just to confirm, your government had nothing to do with it?
Nothing whatsoever, and I don't have anything to do with anonymous sock puppet accounts.
Thank you for your time.